Hello, everyone. I'm Brendan Marcello, sitting across from Michael Niziolek. This is the Auburn Undercover Podcast, Peach Bowl edition, presented by WeHaveDonuts.com. Visit WeHaveDonuts.com for delicious donuts delivered to your door in the Birmingham area, and also to Prevail Union Coffee Shops. Again, that's Prevail Union Coffee Shops in Montgomery and Auburn. Check out We Have Donuts, DOUGH, nuts.com for much more information on this gourmet donut shop here in the state of Alabama. I say here, but we're actually in Georgia right now, in Atlanta. It's a Friday afternoon when we record this, so by the time you listen to this, if you are listening, it is the holiday week. Everything will be old news. But we spoke to defense coordinator Kevin Steele, 5 defensive players today. Earlier this week, we got to see 15 minutes of practice. We talked to Gus Malzahn earlier this week. And, of course, the Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl against UCF kicks off on New Year's Day, which is Monday at 11:30 a.m. Central Time. So wake up early. Still tickets available. Mike, we would recommend that everybody go on the secondary market like the StubHub.com.
And if you're really
look for tickets,
a gambler, and are comfortable not coming down here without tickets, you could probably score some deals. And walking up to the stadium, I would imagine.
I don't think you'll have a problem finding tickets for this game. Auburn still has not sold out its allotment, which was how many tickets?
12,500.
So they haven't even sold that out, and they're selling those for $150 a pop, and they're the only ones available are on the third level, very upper deck. So if you are still looking for tickets, don't worry about it. Just keep checking those secondary market websites and see the prices fall. The prices are falling as we speak. You probably get some good deals.
Looking right now, you can get a pair of tickets in the upper bowl for $74 on Vivid, 75 to 90, some of the cheaper tickets. So deals to be had, and I would imagine in the next 48 hours, those could go down further.
Yeah, I would think so if those do not sell. All right, so I think the big news, the biggest mystery heading into this game, everybody wants to talk about the trash talk by UCF or whatever. I think we've hit that on that continuously for the last week or so. But Auburn could be without a All-American cornerback in this game, and that's not great news considering UCF likes to throw the ball a lot, Mike. Carlton Davis has missed the last 2 practices on Thursday and Friday to what Auburn is terming as an illness. He was not at practice at all Thursday. Friday's was closed, but a source told me he was not there then either. And the interesting thing with him is that dating back to the SEC championship game, he did not play in the second half at all. He later tweeted that night that he was out because of a concussion he suffered the week prior in the Iron Bowl, and yet he's played in the first half of the SEC championship game a week later. That makes no sense to me as far as concussion protocol and the procedures they follow. Having said that, all of this seems very weird, Mike, and it's appearing more and more likely as the days go by that Carlton Davis is not going to play in this Peach Bowl, and that could be a big, big development.
This practice probably was going to be the one that they do the most in since it's closed, and it was kind of, not going to be a walkthrough. And missing this one, and Kevin Steele likes his players to practice. I think you have to add the quote that you had in your article on the site about this from Stephen Roberts. You asked him, or was it somebody else? It doesn't matter. But somebody asked him about Carlton Davis, and he said, "I think that's a question for the head coach. I don't know about that one." What a strange answer if somebody has a tummy ache. Wouldn't he just say, he's not feeling well, we're hoping he plays? Wouldn't that be sort of the, human response, obvious response?
Human response?
Well, just think about it. If you had a person you knew was sick, how's he doing? He's not feeling very good. Hope he gets better.
Yeah. Then again, the staff is so secretive of stuff. Maybe they told him, don't say anything even though he's sick. But
it sounds strange. That's what you're alluding to. It's strange. And I think that quote is just sort of weird.
And it wasn't just him that was kind of saying things like that. Trey Matthews wouldn't really talk about it and didn't want to talk about it.
Nobody talked about him at the locker room after the SEC championship game either.
Yes, that's right. So there you go. So if Auburn is without him, that's a big blow. Trey Matthews and Stephen Roberts said, hey, Jamel Dean or Javarius Davis could come in there. But, listen, Carlton Davis is an All-American, and you're going against the most prolific passing offense you have faced since probably the Sugar Bowl last year against Oklahoma. Baker Mayfield, right now, of course, the Heisman Trophy winner this season, number 1 in passer rating and completion percentage in the country. And you know who's number 2? UCF quarterback Mackenzie Milton in both of those categories. So Auburn needs all the help it can get in the secondary, and depth was already an issue kind of at the safety spots. Cornerback, not so much, but you would love to have all your best players out there, and that's something to watch. If we go out to practice Saturday morning by the time you listen to this, and Carlton Davis is not out there, I just don't see how there's any way he plays. And, of course, Sunday, the day before the game, Gus Malzahn will finally speak again, and he says he'll give us an update at that point about Carlton Davis or any other injuries. I don't know what he would actually say, but at this point, it's not looking likely that he's going to be available. And one source told me that I straight up asked them, I go, sounds like he's not going to play, and they said, sounds like it. So we'll see. Things can change, obviously, but it doesn't look good. Carlton Davis, of course, is also a player who's looking at leaving early for the NFL. So
right, and if you're sick, this would be a week. He'd be pretty sick to have missed practice on Wednesday and not play on Monday and know that,
And what's interesting is that they said he practiced Tuesday. Now, that was a closed practice.
Right.
So we're not necessarily certain that happened. We didn't see with our own eyes. And to be quite honest, I need to talk to one of my sources.
And did he travel? Are you sure?
They say he's here.
They say he's here?
Gus says he's here. I haven't seen a picture of him anywhere. Of course, we're closed off from those guys.
Because he wasn't at practice at all. That you walked in on.
No, he wasn't there at all. Not standing on the sideline, nothing. So we'll see. That's huge. Of course, the other, and just strange how they're handling it. I'm sure we'll get some type of clarification later in the week. But I'm just, if I had to go with my gut, and I'd say he's not going to play in this game as of right now. Also, Kerryon Johnson, Auburn's star running back, 1,320 yards this season, 17 rushing touchdowns. We all know what he looks like when he's even at 90% health. We know what he looks like when he's less than that. And we saw that against Georgia in the SEC championship game. He rushed for a season low of 44 yards, dealing with that right shoulder and a rib injury. He says, the coaches say, and he says that he's going to play in this game and also that he's going to be healthy. Gus Malzahn wouldn't go as far to say that he's going to be 100%, but as close to 100% as they can get him. I think with him, maybe we'll get to talk to him Saturday. We haven't gotten a release yet of the offensive players we're going to speak to, but it would be great if we talked to him. But, it'd be interesting if he does. But if Kerryon is near 100%, Auburn's in good shape. And based off someone I talked to, and I put this in three things I know at auburnundercover.com this week, he's looking good in practice is what I've been told. So that's a very good sign for Auburn. So as I said before the SEC championship game, we were wondering if he was going to play. He's the heart and soul of that offense.
Yeah, and I think that gives them a lot of more confidence in the game plan, too. Auburn does not do well when they're sort of left to scramble without their guy, especially the last two seasons. So I think that's just big for Chip Lindsey, big for Gus Malzahn. They'll be more confident in what they're doing going into the game.
Yeah, huge. It opens things up dramatically for them, especially if he can run the ball effectively. And listen, Auburn should be able to do a lot on offense against this UCF defense. They're not very good. Auburn's offensive and defensive line should own both lines of scrimmage, and Kerryon Johnson should be able to find a hole. Now, my question is, if Kerryon is not near 100%, let's say he's almost SEC championship range, do you start him?
I think you start him and then you see if he's healthier or he can give you more. And if he can't, I think you have to have a quick hook.
Yeah, it's So it's an interesting question, but in situation. But I'm told that he's looking good in practice right now. Now, of course, they're not hitting him. Now, he was not wearing a non-contact jersey in practice Thursday. I very much believe that could be some gamesmanship.
They don't hit much anyway.
Right, and they're not going to bring the running back to the ground anyway during practice. But I thought it was interesting that he was not in a jersey, an orange non-contact jersey. Though I will say this, a walk-on player, not Trayvon Leonard, but a walk-on player was wearing an orange 21 jersey, and we were being told that he was going to play the role of a UCF, their best cornerback or defensive back. But something tells me he could have easily switched jerseys with Kerryon Johnson once we walked out, and Kerryon put the orange jersey on.
Maybe.
Because I say that to say this. Gus Malzahn, at every open bowl practice I have been to since he's been at Auburn, he's done something strange, not necessarily with uniforms or injuries, but he's run a weird formation before we walk out of there, or he's done some different personnel just because he knows we'll write about it and he wants to give the opponent something to think about. But anyway, I'm being told that Kerryon Johnson is as good as he's been, or as good as he can be heading into this game, and he's healthier than he was in the SEC championship game, which by all means is very good news because Auburn's going to need him if this game goes into a shootout. My big question also for this offense is, can Jarrett Stidham bounce back? He's had really 3 bad games this season. Clemson, LSU in the second half particularly, and the Georgia game in the SEC championship. He fumbled in the red zone against Georgia. That could have easily been a 14-0 game. Instead, he fumbles. Georgia goes down the field, ties it up, and it's like not ball game at that point. But Georgia goes on to score 28 straight points. But with Stidham, I'm getting criticized for this, but what was it? The last 2 or 3 games, he has fumbled the ball inside or just outside the red zone, hadn't he?
For no sort of reason. There's no.
Yeah.
Just dropped the.
Now the one against Georgia, he was hit. And he says he should have tucked the ball earlier, which he should have. But you don't win games when you turn the ball over the red zone. It's simple. That was Auburn's problem back in 2016, was turnovers in the red zone.
Wasn't it Louisiana Monroe in Alabama? He dropped the snap in back-to-back games?
I believe so, yeah.
And he fumbled.
And then he fumbled in the SEC championship game. So here we are again, big-time stadium, big-time game. Can he keep the ball in Auburn's hands? That is a big question for me. About just if I'm Chip Lindsey, I'll say this: I am not putting him under center as they have done a few times this year in the red zone. Keep him in the shotgun.
Just think he's more comfortable there.
Yeah, I don't think he's comfortable at all under center.
In your bad performances, you negated the Georgia Southern 14 of 24. An interception.
Well, that was a season opener.
Wasn't very good, though.
Season opener. He was warming up.
Yeah. He was good against Mercer.
Mm-hmm.
Auburn fans.
Well, actually, you know what? That Mercer game, it wasn't a lot of yards per attempt, right?
No, it was 9.8. He had 364 that day. So
oh, okay.
That was his career high. I think.
What a day.
Yeah, what a day against Mercer.
Was that the 5 turnover game?
Yeah.
He had to throw it in that game because of all those turnovers.
Yeah.
Speaking of weird games, don't you get the feeling this game just has a weird vibe, this Peach Bowl? You've only been here, a day.
Yeah.
But this week has been so quiet. There's barely any media here. We're sitting in a large room right now.
Very little buzz.
And it's completely empty. Now, room isn't used for people to work in, but it could be if it was big enough. The other workroom downstairs is the most full it's been all week. The first 2 days here, there was maybe 5-6 people, and only one of them was not an Auburn beat writer. And then by the end of the day, at about 3 or 4 o'clock, there would be about 3 of us down there. Everybody else will be driving back to Auburn. We're staying here in Atlanta to cover all the goings-on and I got to race in a go-kart.
Does Nebraska have beat writers here?
I've yet to see one.
I would think that maybe game day or for the press conferences.
Maybe they bring him down for the Sunday and Monday.
Sunday, because that's part. I think that adds to it too. That their whole staff is another. It's like they're in a transition. They don't even have the real coaching staff.
Yeah.
Auburn has their coaching staff, but they're weird to begin with. That they don't sort of indulge in anything exciting or fun. No, but I'm being serious. Like they're not going to bring hype to this matchup at all. I mean, they're just
let's get hype.
Kevin Steele's talking about externally. So, it's just like it sounds like a robot. It sounded like a robot today, and just sort of. And Chip Lindsey tomorrow. I mean, he's not going to create excitement.
Well, Kevin Steele is a man of steel.
That's right. So, it's weird. UCF is doing their best, but Auburn's not taking the bait.
No, Auburn. I've been told that they're kind of they think they're. I guess maybe without them saying it, they're just kind of looking at them like, really, you guys are going to tell us that we're not fast enough?
Yeah.
Are you really going to say that before this game? Now, is it motivating them? I don't know. I think they probably think it's more or less like just insulting. Like, why would you think that of us? There's no South Carolina, Michigan pushing and shoving matches going on.
That'd have been fun.
The
fan, the fan interest just isn't there.
Yeah,
either.
I've seen one Auburn fan here so far, and it's just now Friday night. Actually, Auburn fans will probably be arriving today after work for the weekend to spend the weekend here and New Year's Day. Those who are here. Now, I did see an Auburn fan Thursday outside the the UCF team hotel, and this is one of the reasons why I say this is a weird vibe around it. He asked me, "We should win this game, right?" And that seems to kind of be the attitude of all Auburn fans. Like,
right.
we should beat UCF, right?
Handily.
And that's the thing. This game is set up as such. It's like a no-win situation for Auburn. You beat them, you're supposed to beat them. If you lose to them, oh my goodness, what's happening? Is the program in tailspin going into the 2018 season when you have to open the season here again against Washington, a title contender themselves in the Pac-12? It's really a no-win situation, but I see it still as a win-lose situation because if we were talking about this earlier, if Auburn wins, they're probably going to be in the top 5 at the end of the season. If they lose, they'll be outside the top 10. That's quite a disparity, especially when there's usually a log jam in the top 5 after the end of the season going into the bowl year. Because those top 5 teams with the playoff now usually stay the same. But if Alabama and or Georgia lose and Auburn wins, Auburn might be in the top 4 and above one of those teams at the end of the season. Whereas if they lose, of course, they would fall below UCF, and UCF's number 12 right now. Auburn would probably fall somewhere just near the 15 range. Mm-hmm. And that wouldn't set well with fans, number one. Number two, it wouldn't put Auburn in position to be like a top 5 team going into the preseason next year. If they win this game, I think they could be a top 5 preseason team, depending on who comes back. Like if Kerryon Johnson leaves and Jeff Holland leaves and Carlton Davis, top 10. But Kerryon Johnson comes back and they win this game, top 5. So I think that this is a win-lose game. And I find it strange that maybe some Auburn fans are seeing it as lose-lose, when in fact, if you actually look at it, look beyond the brand name stuff, there really is a lot at stake here for the sake of the program.
Well, and Kevin Steele listed off a litany of sort of accomplishments. This what the 11th win would mean, and how no program in his school history has beat 3, I think, undefeated teams or something in the same season. But Deshaun Davis,
9-0,
yeah. Deshaun Davis had an interesting comment. He referenced that he's been through wins and losses, and last year was kind of an exception. The time prior to that they lost, which was the Outback Bowl, he said that the offseason was terrible. That the practices did not start out very good, that they had to work that off at the beginning of the year, which was 2015, which the team was not very good at the beginning of the year. And so it shows you that, the carryover might not be if they win this game, they're not necessarily national champions next year. If they lose, they're not rough for disaster.
Yeah.
But they can be tone setters and guys on the fringe that sort of, need a little extra motivation or sort of need that push. If they lose, maybe they don't work as hard for a couple months, but a win gets them, like you said, that top 5 ranking. They work a little harder. And leadership will help avoid that. But it was interesting that Deshaun sort of acknowledged the fact that, look, a loss can have a lingering effect.
Yeah.
And that loss was not very good. You covered that game.
The Outback Bowl,
yeah.
it was like it was a strange game. Auburn probably should have won it. They were going against like a walk-on or backup quarterback for Wisconsin. Barry Alvarez was the interim coach.
Was that the year he left and then he came back and was the hero?
Auburn just couldn't get in a rhythm really, but they put up a lot of yards. And then it went to overtime, and Auburn clanked a field goal off the post in overtime.
But so interesting because that was a game that they probably should have won. This is a game that they probably should have won. You probably should win, and you lose that. Look, if you go into if they were facing Ohio State and they lost a hard fought game, you probably say okay.
And it would it'd be looked at more posiitly in a
positive
aspect
absolutely.
by the national
100%.
media and the coaches.
And I think in the locker room too, because you're going against a story. It makes optics matter to kids. It just does.
And it matters to the national media and prognosticators going into the off season.
And UCF does not have that cachet. This could it's just something that you don't want to have happen. Especially they're coming back here again. You lose 2 in a row here. You're going to just deal with that all.
The whole offseason be about can they actually win a game in Atlanta?
I said they should have brought cigars.
Bring cigars.
I've got 2 cigars in my room. Smoke them on Mercedes-Benz Field.
On the turf. It catches fire, the synthetic material. Oh, man. Yeah, but I will say this. Going into last season's game, it was a New Year's 6 game, right? And there wasn't really the talk of this could propel us going forward because they were going to have a new quarterback. They already knew that, even though they wouldn't admit it.
It was going to be a different team.
Sean White got injured very early in that game, but that obviously didn't do anything with the pregame. But going into the game, they knew
was packing his bags.
Rhett Lashley was he was on his way out. Yeah, there was some writing on the wall there. The quarterback was going to be different. Auburn was already banged up at the running back spot. They didn't have a lot of confidence
Oklahoma was
going
a really
into the game.
Good team.
Yeah, and Oklahoma was really good. They didn't have a lot of confidence going into the game. And Auburn, they went down and scored immediately. It was a good game plan. But Sean White broke his arm on that.
And they had a built-in excuse that, look, you lost your quarterback on the first drive.
Your quarterback broke his arm.
Yeah.
What can you do about that? And Cameron Petway is still dealing with injuries, obviously. But anyway, there wasn't talk going into that game about this could really be a trendsetter going into the next season. It was pretty much like, can we survive injury-wise?
Because they were going to hit the reset button, but that's not the case this year.
This year, this is as healthy as they've been.
There's going to be no coaching changes.
No coaching changes. Yeah. This is when they should win. They're set up to win this game, and they need to win it. Gus Malzahn needs to win it.
Because this bowl history is not very good so far.
No, 1 win, and it was in the Birmingham Bowl. Also against an AAC team, Memphis, back, 2 years ago now. The same day Kevin Steele was hired as a defensive coordinator. But that was actually the bigger news that day. And you know what? Turns out it was the biggest news because Auburn had top 10 defenses each of the next 2 years as a result of Kevin Steele coming on board. I want to talk about this briefly because this game's being played right now, and I don't even know what the score is, but I know what the score was in the first half. Do you remember when Kevin Steele was hired at Auburn? John Chavis was hired at Texas A&M around that time, I think. I might be wrong there. Or the year before that, right? At the time, people would say that the changes in defensive coordinators at that time, A&M won out. That they got Chavis.
Yeah.
And Steele hadn't really done anything. Chavis did not work out at A&M. They gave up 38 points. I think 31 of them were offense in the first half against Wake Forest in their bowl game. Chavis is on his way out. He's apparently going to Arkansas based off what I was hearing from friends up there while I was up there for Christmas break. Chad Moore says they're getting the best defensive coordinator in the country. But I would say that Kevin Steele has certainly won that battle. And those two guys are really close friends, John Chavis and Kevin Steele. Kevin Steele calls him Bear, are good friends. And if Steele somehow got that Tennessee head coaching job, guarantee you John Chavis would have been his defensive coordinator. Guarantee you. But right now, Steele's the better defensive coordinator, wouldn't you say? And isn't that funny how things change?
Best defensive coordinators in the country right now.
Yeah.
I mean, there's not room to argue with what he turned around. Pretty dire, statistically at least, what he took over to what they are now. I know he credits too Muschamp for helping kind of bring some of the talent in and start.
Sure, and definitely in the secondary.
Yeah, definitely in the secondary. But I think Steele gets the bulk of that credit. And he's made, what's interesting, he's made some very good coaching hires. I mean, Rodney Garter stays over, but Travis Williams has sort of been the diamond in the rough, and Greg Brown's done really well this year, and people kind of were worried about him a little bit.
Yeah.
Just about how he'd fit in. Everything's sort of hitting on all cylinders. I mean, he brought in Wes McGriff, and he worked out for the season he was here. He's sort of had a magical touch. I mean, I don't know that you could point to a decision that hasn't worked out.
He's been great from the standpoint that, a lot of people, when his name was coming up with the Tennessee head coaching job, they go back to what he did at Baylor, where he won, one conference game?
It wasn't good.
It wasn't great. Now, but here at Auburn, he's provided the chance and opportunity to kind of just be the head coach of the defense.
Yeah.
Because Gus doesn't mess with it at all.
No.
Most head coaches go around, and Gus does, but he's not telling Kevin Steele what to do. Kevin Steele is the head coach of that defense. He will go days without seeing Gus Malzahn outside of a meeting room.
Yeah.
I mean, he's not coming to the defensive meeting room and go, hey, what you need to do this and that. Kevin Steele, in a sense, is the head coach, half head coach of a football team right now.
But I think that's why fans were holding their breath, because there are very few opportunities I think that Steele would have sort of been open to and kind of pursued, and Tennessee just happened to be one of them.
And it's his alma mater.
That's why. So they were sort of like, oh boy, if it was some weird team that just didn't have kind of the situation or stability. I mean, Tennessee was in a great situation, but it had sort of that other stuff that you kind of say, oh man. So, the fact that they got through that, I think, I've been saying all along, that's the biggest offseason, move for Auburn, that they didn't leave.
Yeah, it's amazing. 2 years ago, I was kind of like, this is like maybe a B+ hire. Looking back now, I'd say it's A+, because not only has he turned things around, but you hear about players liking their coaches. I mean, they love him. And all the seniors today, and they've been saying it for the last month, like how much they're going to miss them and all this stuff. Yeah. And when the seniors are saying things like that trip filters down to the other guys. They're going to have good leadership moving forward as it is now. Anyway, we were talking about this earlier today. I can't wait to speak to Deshaun Davis more next season when he's a senior and is looked at as a leader.
He mentioned possibly being a captain, and that would be an honor. And if he's the captain, we'd probably talk more to him. I hope he gets it.
I hope so, too. Deshaun's a lot of fun to talk to. And he would definitely be the face of the defense next season if Jeff Holland doesn't come back.
Yeah.
Wouldn't you agree?
And Jeff's more a reluctant guy,
right?
With the exception of the Sensei Mud stuff. Outside of that, he's sort of a more quiet, thoughtful soul, I guess.
Yeah. But we might be seeing the last of Sensei Mud in an Auburn uniform on Monday as well. So it'll be interesting. All right. So Saturday morning, we get to talk to the Auburn offense. We get to go to practice. What are maybe a couple of topics you're looking forward to maybe discussing or asking offensive players for Auburn on Saturday?
Well, it depends who we're getting.
Let's just say you get Jarrett Stidham, number one.
Nothing.
You have nothing to ask Jarrett Stidham, the quarterback.
Do you have anything interesting to say after 3 months?
He's so pretty, though.
He's just he's just too
dreamy?
No, I don't want to say calculated in a negative sense, but he's just he hasn't. Can you point to a quote of his this season?
I can think of one. I can think of one that was said as he walked on the field at Clemson, but wasn't supposed to be to a reporter.
I don't even remember what that was.
Oh, I do. Remember him saying it was his house.
Oh, yeah. But okay, outside of screaming.
But that wasn't him
that's
talking
sort
to
of
reporters.
cheating. All right, we got our 5 guys. You want to take a
Oh,
shot?
did we
We
really?
just got it.
Okay.
It's 6.
6 players.
It's 6.
Man, Gus is feeling
No,
generous.
you'll understand when.
Oh,
you
don't
guess
do
it.
this to me. Okay, I have to look now.
No, it's actually not bad. It's good. It's good.
It's not bad. It's good. Oh, no, it's bad. No, but, it's good. Okay, all right. Wait, hold on. Did they send an email? Yes, they did. Let's look here. You guys are doing this live with us via tape delay. All right. Of course, Chip Lindsey. Oh, no. Daniel Carlson, of course, whose last kick was blocked. Ryan Davis, receiver. Good. Austin Golson, last game at Auburn. One of the stalwarts there. Kerryon Johnson.
Mm-hmm.
Boom. I told you he'd talk. Braden Smith, expected, and Jarrett Stidham. I'm talking to Kerryon tomorrow. I've got diffs.
I got Daniel Carlson.
They misspelled Chip Lindsey's name. How dare they? How dare they? Is UCF working with the Peach Bowl to diss Auburn? They spell Chip Lindsey with an A instead of an E. How dare they?
So the year starts and ends with Braden Smith at the podium.
That's true. How about that? Nice bookend to the year for Auburn. That's a pretty good lineup.
I mean, yeah, it's not. It could have been.
I just knew Kerryon would talk because he's the type of guy who goes, "Hey, I want to talk."
Yeah, no,
And
Kerryon.
I don't think Gus is going to tell him.
Do you think there'll
no.
be empty tables if Kerryon is if it's like Kerryon in here with Braden, Austin, and
Yes.
Ryan Davis?
For a little bit, yeah. There'll be some people around them.
Yeah.
If I was Kerryon, you know what I'd do Saturday? I walk in here with a sling on. Just mess with people. Why don't players mess with people anymore? Like, have fun. Like, do that stuff.
They never have fun.
Come in with a sling. Do it. Do it, Kerryon. It'd be funny.
Have them stretchered in.
Guys, I'm okay.
It's taking
Gives
it
a thumbs up.
Taking
Daily
it too
question.
far.
Yeah. Well, it's an okay lineup. It's a good lineup. So we'll have full coverage of that. That starts, by the way, at 8:30 a.m. Eastern Time, 7:30 Central Auburn Time in the morning on a Saturday. I don't know how many people will be paying attention to that live as we provide live updates.
I did not know.
But we will be there doing that. Okay. Basketball plays Saturday. Gets Cornell.
Yes.
They
that's
should beat the
rumor.
crap out of them,
That's
right?
the rumor.
See, I sound like one of those Auburn fans outside the hotel. They should beat the crap out of them, right?
I did check the game notes to see if they snuck in the missing players, but they're not.
Austin
they're
Wiley
not-
will start.
They're not expected. They're still not part of the expected players.
In the NCAA's hands now, from what we gather.
According to Philip Marshall.
According to our Philip Marshall. That's a game that Auburn should win by 30.
They should win. It's at home too. So.
Cornell's
Maybe
not very good.
that's going to be a tough draw.
What do you mean, tough draw? Like crowd?
Yeah, crowd wise.
Oh, yeah, certainly, because
Yeah.
pretty much everybody that's going to be there is probably going to want or maybe they'll drive from there to here. Who knows?
Yeah, maybe.
I don't know, but families have decisions to make, probably, and I would think they would choose one more football game over Cornell. No offense, Cornell. You're a great university. You're just not a great
You
basketball
just
program.
insulted all our Cornell listeners.
Well, listen. We probably don't have a Cornell listener. Anything else? Anything happening? Pop culture?
So I made it through Ash versus the Evil Dead.
You finished the whole thing?
Yeah. But did you know that the showrunner left going into this, or they started shooting the season 2 finale, and he left over creative differences, and they redid the whole thing.
Oh, I didn't.
And that's why it was disjointed and ignored the rest of the season.
I don't even remember what happened in the season 2 finale. Spoilers.
Spoilers.
Isn't that where they went back in time?
Yeah, so originally he was going to have a run-in with himself, and that never happened. And they were supposed to leave the cabin earlier because if you it was very redundant to the first season finale, and so it wasn't supposed to be like that. And the girl, I forget her name, was supposed to end up as Ash's daughter because they leave and he meets the mom in a bar, and then the picture of him in the book with the chainsaw gets rewritten and it's him next to his daughter. And so then she learns that she's the daughter, and then that's kind of like the cliffhanger. It sounded much more interesting than what they did. But I guess one of the producers owns a piece of it, and he's like the day-to-day guy, and he objected to it, and so they parted ways.
Wow.
Now they're giving him a daughter in the third season.
But it's not her.
It's a different character. So
yeah. It's supposed to be like in high school. A lot of this in the high school setting.
Yeah, so...
that could be interesting.
Thought that was interesting.
Apparently, it might be the last season too.
Not surprising. It can't sustain too much. I don't think.
I don't know. They were hoping to go 4 or 5 seasons, but now that's happening, I was wondering because this season was delayed. Because usually it comes out in October, which is great, right around Halloween, and they're waiting till February this year. Pushed it back, so I was wondering. Was there some creative reasons? I had no idea about that near the end of the season. But I saw an interview with Bruce Campbell recently after they filmed season 3, and he was pretty much saying, yeah, this could be it. That could be it. It's probably all done. That's too bad. Really like that show. You don't want to discuss your favorites of scene?
No. Just be careful in the second season. Don't be eating when you're watching the second or third episode.
Man, it's nasty. It's very nasty. Okay, well, that's going to... Well, hold on. We're supposed to do listener questions, but we didn't really get any.
So there we go.
We got some inside jokes as questions.
Not helpful.
That no one will understand.
Not helpful.
Charles Goldberg, former Auburn beat writer, asked, because I tweeted out the questions on Twitter asking for questions with Miss Cleo.
Mm-hmm.
And he said, will you answer the questions in Miss Cleo's Jamaican accent? Ratings would go way up. I will not. And then here's a legitimate question. And I can have a quick answer for that. Do you think Jerry? Do you think Joey Gatewood will step in as the number 2 quarterback next year? No. If Jarrett Stidham stays, it's Jarrett Stidham and Malik Willis.
But if Jarrett Stidham leaves, he could be the number 2 quarterback.
He could be. It's very possible. But I don't think Jarrett Stidham's leaving. So that's going to do it for the Auburn Undercover
That was the question.
That's the only question we got. I'm telling you. I mean, it's a Friday afternoon, sure. And it's holiday week. I don't think a lot of people have a lot of enthusiasm right now.
Do you think people have any enthusiasm right now?
I don't know.
So no.
Just act like UCF is Notre Dame. Or don't. Whatever. Go to auburnundercover.com for full coverage.
Some interesting things tomorrow will happen because Kerryon Johnson and we have practice availability. So maybe that'll get some people excited.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Sure. Maybe. Maybe Kerryon will sit down here and go, hey, I'm 98% healthy and I'm also coming back next season.
Or maybe he's I'm 2% healthy and I'm not coming back next season.
Or what if he says I'm 2% healthy and I'm coming back next season? Would you rather him be 2% healthy, not coming back, or 98% healthy and I'm not coming back, Auburn fans? Which would you choose?
I don't know.
That should be a poll question. Because we got to think of something to get people interested. Okay. Thanks for listening to the Auburn Undercover podcast presented by WeHaveDonuts.com. Visit us at auburn.247sports.com. Thanks for listening. Bye.